y'all. It is Tuesday, Tyr's Day, named after Tyr or Tig, the Mars equivalent of the Nordic pantheon. It's the 16th of December. Esoterically, it is ruled by Mars also. Today, Tuesdays, Tyr's Days. The sun is in Sagittarius, 24 degrees. The moon is in Scorpio, 16 degrees. We got some oppositions and squares with the Grand Water Trine still popping. We'll talk about it as we go. The cards I've pulled for the day. The Five of Wands, very Mars ruled day vibes here. The Fool card is the clarifier. And the wild card is coming from the Artist Oracle deck, Gilbert and George, which we'll talk about as we hit that. So, if you're a fire sign, you are a wand, that we all have actionable zealousness and creativity in us. This is so if you're an Aries, a Leo, or a Sagittarius, you're a wand. But on page 110, the Five of Wands is as follows. I am alert and sharp to all challenges and conflicts. A competitive nature locked in a battle of wits, with Mercury in Sag opposite Uranus, retrograding in Taurus, and conjunct Black Moon Lilith, technically still in the last degree of Scorpio. We're like, I gotta fight for my right to party. So, locked in a battle of wits, keeping a rigid structure, testing your ideas out. It's like hold your ground. Hold, Braveheart style. On page 110. In the Tarot, fives typically represent conflict or disharmony, the dire earthbound situation in the Five of Pentacles, the watery misery of the Five of Cups, and the tragic atmospheric conflict of the Five of Swords. At first glance, it would seem we are witnessing another tale of destruction with the dramatic conflagration of fighters presented here in the Five of Wands. However, we can see no blood, no injuries or death, despite the fiery wands flying like lightsabers in all directions. The theatrical, over-exaggerated gestures and strange carnivalesque masks invite us to take a closer look at the action. Tremendous leaps, kicks and punches, wands thrown as light javelins demonstrates immense physical prowess, athleticism and skill, a youthful bravado, even celebratory, a display of potential lethality. Ritualized enhancement of conflict, mainly between young men, exists in many cultures around the world. For example, on the island of Lombok in Indonesia, armed with long rattan sticks and rectangular wooden shields, the fighters attack each other under the watchful eye of a referee, accompanied by the metallic timbre of traditional gamelan music. Using a multitude of elaborate gesticulations, often theatrical and comical, they lash out at their opponents with wide-eyed ferocity. Sun in Sagittarius, Mars in Capricorn, Moon in Scorpio. As well as its historic associations and popularity at ceremonies, the stick fight, named Parasan, also served to ask God for rain for the imminent season of planting, empowering an ancient belief that the more blood that was spilled, the more rain would follow. Blood for the blood god. The use of ritualized forms of antagonistic behavior or tests of strength allows the integration of our natural aggression. We are introduced to some of the harsh realities of life, Moon and Scorpio, the battle and struggle for limited resources, or the fierce competition for procreation. Moreover, Mother Nature is appeased by the bloodshed in restitution for man's dishonor, disrespect, and neglect of her. Balance is restored. The gift of blood, thanking her for a bounteous generosity in supporting the villagers' lives. Of the law of exchange, atonement theories here. So, 2, in the animal kingdom, the strutting, striking, biting, and flashing of ridiculously grand plumes, horns, and claws allows the battle of dominance to take place as a staged display. Unlike humans, actual physical fighting to the blood within the same species is rare because the evolutionary cost is simply too high. The Five of Wands invites you to consider where you can test your ideas and your mental, and physical skills in the arena of goodwill and healthy competition. Mars and Capricorn. Pluto and Aquarius. The ultra-competitive, technologically advanced world we live in also requires that we test and hone our skills before venturing into real-world business ventures or situations where the risk of losing is potentially costly. It is vital to first test our skill in the simulation environment that allows us to learn, grow, and perfect our game. This is an integral part of problem-solving, remaining calm and being adaptive in the volatile and unpredictable markets and niches. You want to take a few shots in pre-game like basketball players before you actually start the game. You want to warm up. There is great power in ritual and acknowledging the fragile balance of life, and so honoring your own life and those of your future sparring partners, your competitors, who will make you stronger, right? Like Gladiator. For those who are about to die, we salute you, and then they fight hard. Competitive nature, locked in a battle of wits, keeping a rigid structure, testing your ideas out. So, with a Mars ruled day, very vibe apropos. The clarifying card is the Fool card. I have written music for all the major arcana. Check it out. The song is called Leaving the Sideline. I'll post it in the comments. If you're into music, but also if you're into like taking this a little deeper, you will appreciate this stuff, I promise. On page 22, the Zero card. The Fool card, the Sacred Clown. I laugh at the game of life, right? They're American gladiators. And we're all just down here playing games with each other, albeit very tooth and nail. Take the leap of faith and be free, North Node in Pisces. Step out from the void, embrace your inexperience, and live into your potential by exploring your world. Sagittarius, Sun, Mars, and Venus. Not Mars. Mars is in Capricorn. Sagittarius, Sun, Venus, and Mercury. Mars and Capricorn. Let's explore our world. Whoops, holding it backwards. Let's explore our world by engaging with it and not just being in our heads, right? We have incarnated to experience it. Yes, it's good to get on a psychedelic trip or meditation, but you don't want to stay in the cave forever and disappear. We're here to engage, right? Even in Star Wars, Obi-Wan Kenobi can't hide out forever in the desert. He has to train Luke Skywalker how to use his lightsaber so he can initiate Luke into going from a Padawan into a Jedi Master, right? So the wild card is coming from the Art Oracle deck, and it is Gilbert and George. Notice how they're poking each other, and they're playing the game. They're not sitting back. They're actually engaged with life here. So George and Gilbert. Gilbert Proche and George Passmore have waved the banner of Art for All since their collective debut in 1967, very Pluto and Aquarius, also the year Sgt. Pepper's came out, I think, with works addressing sex, religion, politics, and social taboos. Moon in Scorpio. Sun in Sag. Religion, politics, social taboos through an aesthetic of sometimes hallucinatory pop. North Node in Pisces. Early works include living sculpture, in which Gilbert and George painted themselves metallic and walked London's streets. Today, they are known for large grid-like paintings, very LSD sheet look, and are identified both by their trademark tailored suits and their birthday suits. They're often the nude subjects of their works. Gilbert and George have described their influence as everything from humanity to universal suffering. How deep and poetic. North Node in Pisces. Pluto and Aquarius, revolutionary. So I think the advice we're getting from them is dress your part. And when you're in the game of life, you have a role to play. Know your role, play your part. And that's what we've asked for, we've incarnated to do. There's a time to figure out that you're not your meat suit, that you're not, the roles you play, that you're not all these things. And simultaneously, paradoxically, right? Pluto and Aquarius, you have asked to experience reality thusly, so do not sleep on it. Engage, dress your part, show up. And even though you're this universal being of witness, watching the Tao, watching the duality, right, play out, that's what we ask for. Laugh. Everybody play the game of love, of life, as to paraphrase Queen. So we're here to step up and have fun. So if you want to know more about who you are and what you're about in terms of your role, holler for a reading. If you've enjoyed this, tag somebody who's maybe not into astrology or tarot, or maybe an OG if they want to, see it from a different perspective. It always helps to spread gnosis. Holler for a reading. 3 hours of astrology, $150. An hour of cards, 5 tarot and 5 oracle cards, is $50. If it's your birthday, happy birthday, Sagittarian. It is half off, and if you on either or both of those, and if you refer somebody to me, you get half off on a reading of cards for yourself. There's a referral kind of bonus. Check out the song I wrote for the card. It's in the comments. Leaving the Sideline, because that's what we're here to do. We're here to leave the sideline, engage in the game, shoot our shot, dress our part, show up and perform our line and say thank you, and ultimately knowing that's not who we are, but what we're experiencing. So they're same but different, right? On that note, enjoy your Mars ruled Tears Day, and I'll catch you on the flip side. Adios.